Chapter 312 Reinforcements and Peace. Ice Demon, it isn't because you find this guy displeasing to the eye but rather that you want me to pick a fight with Yi Shi. The large bald man coldly said, glaring at the Ice Demon. Hee. That could be true. Regardless, don't you want to go see the schoolmaster? It would be best to go now. The schoolmaster has yet to start refining chi from his latest blood sacrifice. The white silhouette addressed the worry on the large man's mind, changing the subject without care. The large bald man clearly understood that the other party's words were a slight towards him, but he simply snorted and walked into the darkness with large strides. After turning several corners and walking through 6 or 7 courtyards, the large man arrived at an extremely remote but expansive rock garden. At the sight of it, an expression of reverence had appeared on his face. Subordinate Tai pays respects to schoolmaster. The large man loudly greeted with a bow. So it's Tai Luo. How were you wounded? A middle-aged man's magnetic distant voice came from the rock garden where the Black Fiend schoolmaster had secluded himself. It was likely that this was completely unthinkable to Han Li and the others. Many thanks for schoolmaster's concern, but this subordinate simply used the demon transformation technique. There is only a bit of damage to my vitality. When the large bald man heard the schoolmaster's words, he gave a careful reply. For a moment, the schoolmaster didn't immediately give a reply. After a long while, he faintly said, "From what I can see, this mission was a failure. Otherwise, my unnamed disciple should have followed you back for the mission debriefing. Please forgive me, schoolmaster." This subordinate didn't do his best to protect the young master and protector Wang, both of whom fell into the enemy's hands. This subordinate willingly receives the schoolmaster's strict punishment. The large man gritted his teeth and said this with an appearance of shame. Punishment? Why would I punish you? Since you've already used the demon transformation technique, it clearly shows that this enemy was truly too strong. It wasn't because you didn't try your best. Besides, they were only a disciple and a protector, so losing them isn't anything too terrible. If you, on the other hand, were to fall into the enemy's hands, then I truly would have a headache. Many thanks for schoolmaster's forgiveness. This subordinate will certainly do his utmost for schoolmaster in order to make up for this failure. The Black Fiend schoolmaster had skillfully won over his subordinate's heart, stirring up emotions from the large bald man with his words. In response, the bald man immediately made a great display of loyalty. Very good. But before anything else, tell me about the fight that occurred. I wanted to know which sect this cultivator came from. He is unexpectedly so fierce. The Black Fiend schoolmaster was clearly very satisfied with the large man's words, but he still asked about Han Li with great curiosity. As you bid. The large man hastily agreed. The techniques of the Foundation establishment cultivator who we wanted to capture were extremely peculiar. He was unexpectedly able to control mechanical beast-like figurines. Furthermore, his strength was not lacking. At the time, the large bald man thoroughly narrated the events of his fight with Han Li and how he used the demonic transformation technique when the situation turned sour. After the large man finished, the rock garden was quiet for a moment. The Black Fiend schoolmaster seemed to be thinking of something. After a while, a clear and cold voice spoke. Based on the description of this cultivator's control of figurines, this should be the puppet technique of the Thousand Bamboo School, and thus, he is likely a cultivator from this school. I heard earlier that a few thousand Bamboo School cultivators had appeared within the borders of Yuanwu. He is probably one of them. However, your intuition to immediately flee after your demon transformation was a very wise decision. Otherwise, you wouldn't be speaking here with me now, the Black Fiend schoolmaster said indifferently. That can't be. Although I am not confident that my transformed demonic body would be able to truly withstand his treasure talisman, were it not for the fact that I was unable to control my own body after the demonic transformation, I would have actually wanted to fight him. Even if I wasn't his match, I would have completely been able to flee without harm, the large man replied with some refusal. Tai Luo, I know that you were able to withstand a treasure talisman once before and came out unscathed. However, talisman treasures greatly differ in power from one another. Even if two treasure talismans were refined from the same magic treasure, their strength wouldn't necessarily be the same. Also, with this treasure talisman's strange appearance, I can conclude that you wouldn't be able to endure his attacks even with your fiend demon transformation. If it were Qing Wen's with devil transformation, there may have been some chance of victory. The Black Fiend sect master smiled warmly and gave the large man an explanation. Many thanks for schoolmaster's advice. Still somewhat unconvinced, the large man still expressed his thanks with acknowledgement. Schoolmaster, how should we respond to this cultivator? Since the opponent isn't a cultivator from the 7 sects, should us 4 blood servants be dispatched to capture him alive and present him for schoolmaster's cultivation? The large bald man eagerly asked. It was obvious he planned to find Han Li and settle the score. There's no need. It was only a guess that he was a 1000 bamboo school cultivator. I'm not completely certain, and he may have other helpers. Also, I am at a crucial point of my secluded cultivation and do not wish to provoke any great enemies. Confine all the disciples within the capital in the coming days and have them all remain at the Imperial Palace. These matters will be put off until I reach great success stage in my cultivation. Even if there are no Foundation establishment cultivators to serve as blood sacrifices, it will only delay my progress by a few months. At that time, apart from core formation cultivators, no Foundation establishment cultivator will be my match. As the Black Fiend schoolmaster said this, his originally flat tone became filled with excitement. The Black Fiend schoolmaster's thoughts happened to be just as Han Li had anticipated. This subordinate wishes good fortune for schoolmaster's cultivation breakthrough to the great success stage. This one will immediately arrange for the school disciples at the Imperial Palace to fortify the number of guards. We won't allow them to disturb the schoolmaster in the slightest, the large man loudly declared with tact. Good, carry out the arrangements. After the Black Fiend schoolmaster finished saying this, he seemed to be somewhat tired and didn't say anything further. Thus, the large bald man respectfully took several steps back, turned around, and departed. This location once again became an unremarkable corner of the cold palace. Time passed by quickly. It was half a month since Han Li passed on the newly acquired intelligence. At this moment, the Black Fiend School and Han Li had taken the same action and withdrew. Since the Black Fiend School didn't dispatch their troops to search wide for the Han Li's hideout, Han Li didn't dare to break down the stalemate and rush into the Imperial City, showing his usual calm restraint. It appeared that nothing happened to both sides during this time. It would be reasonable to say that the Devil Dao should have already shown themselves, but no information of them had appeared, causing Han Li to let out a great sigh of relief. Han Li's most feared scenario where the Black Fiend School and the Devil Dao would collaborate together and simultaneously stir up vile trouble did not occur. Han Li couldn't help but secretly rejoice from this. According to Han Li's calculations, even if Li Huaiwen sent people over, they would arrive in about 10 days at the earliest. Thus, he calmly cultivated every day and didn't rashly go out. At Han Li's suggestion, Qin Yan had also stayed in at the residence for the past recent days and evaded invitations to go out, claiming that he wanted to deepen and enjoy familial ties. But on the morning of this very day, as Han Li was meditating and refining qi on his bed, he suddenly opened his eyes, exposing a trace of cold light. Which fellow Taoists have come to visit? There's no need to be so secretive. Come out. After Han Li coldly said this, he patted his storage pouch and immediately took out the white scale shield, blocking his front. At the same time, his other hand grasped a fire cloud talisman. He appeared as if he were facing a great enemy. What caused Han Li to act so seriously was the feeling of shock in response to the appearance of 3 to 4 Foundation establishment cultivators lingering outside the door. Although they used qi concealment magic techniques, Han Li, who cultivated the nameless chant, could faintly feel their presence. Han Li thought to himself with astonishment, could it be that the four great blood servants of the Black Fiend School have all come? When this thought raced through his mind, Han Li endlessly complained to himself and immediately planned his escape. As for the four friends of Meng Mountain and those from the Qin residence, Han Li couldn't do anything for them, he could only leave them to find their own luck. While Han Li's mind was filled with these distracting thoughts, not a single magic tool or Taoist technique came from outside as Han Li had expected. Instead, he heard a bright and cheerful voice. "Hee! How about it? I said you wouldn't be able to conceal yourselves from Junior Marshal Brother. Young Junior Marshal Brother has already entered mid-foundation establishment. Don't show off your mere skill in front of Junior Marshal Brother Han." This was an extremely familiar voice to Han Li. His mind stirred as he loudly answered, could it be that Senior Marshal Brother Song has arrived? Let Junior Marshal Brother give you his greetings. Han Li's words were filled with pleasant surprise. Junior Marshal Brother, you've guessed correctly. After the voice's owner said this, he opened the door and strutted into Han Li's room. It was Han Li's fourth Senior Marshal Brother, Song Meng. Two men and a woman stood behind him. Apart from the serious appearance of a young handsome man, the other two looked at Han Li with a smile. Among them, a man with a scholarly appearance said with a smile, "8th Junior Marshal Brother, I've heard your name from Master. It's unfortunate that 7th Junior Marshal Sister and I haven't had a chance to meet you yet. Now that we've finally seen you in person, we're astounded that you've cultivated so quickly and had already reached mid-foundation establishment. I truly have no words to say." The man clicked his tongue. When that elegant woman standing by his side heard this, she concealed a chuckle and brightly sized up Han Li with curiosity. Han Li took another glance at the man and woman, but he still didn't recognize who they were. He immediately stood up from the bed and said, with a respectful expression, "So it's 3rd Senior Marshal Brother and 7th Senior Marshal Sister. Junior Marshal Brother has long heard of Senior Marshal Brother and Sister's great reputations. Unfortunately, I also haven't had the chance to meet you. As for Cultivation, Senior Marshal Brother had entered mid-foundation establishment far before me. How could this Junior Marshal Brother compare?" Han Li's words were sincere and left a good impression on his 3rd Marshal Brother.